Welcome to the second part of third unit of grade 6. We have discussed that there are three types of water based on salinity. They are fresh water, marine water and brackish water. Now we are going to discuss a simple activity to find the salinity in water. For that you need about 10 gram of salt, drinking water, a 50 milliliter beaker, a balance. Here you can use a triple beam balance or a digital balance in order to take the mass. I will explain the method by using this simple diagram. There, what you need to do is you take the beaker and put 25 milliliters of water into it. Then you measure the mass of the beaker with water by using the balance, triple beam balance or the digital balance. After that you can remove the water in the beaker and add 2 grams of salt into the empty beaker. 2 grams of salt is added and then you add little amount of water. It should be less than 25 milliliters and you dissolve all salt well, and after that you have to add water until the final volume is 25 milliliters. Now you measure the mass of the salt solution in the beaker. Then again you remove the solution, and in the next instance what you have to do is put 6 grams of salt into the beaker, put little amount of water and dissolve all the salt. After that put water until the final volume is 25 milliliters. And again you have to measure the mass of the second salt solution. So here I have named them as A, B and C. A, there was only 25 milliliters of water. B, a total volume of a salt solution of 25 milliliters were there. There are 2 grams of salt was dissolved in water. And in C, a 25 milliliter salt solution was there and 6 grams of salt was dissolved in water in the third instance, A, B and C. So once you measure the mass of these 3 A, B and C setups, you can tabulate your data in this form. You can tabulate your data as in this table. Beaker with water, the mass, beaker with 2 grams of salt dissolved in water, what is the mass, and beaker with 6 grams of salt dissolved in water. So there you will be able to find that the mass of C is the highest. C is the one in which 6 grams of salt was dissolved, and B has a less mass when compared to C, and A has the lowest mass where there was no salt, there was only fresh water. So accordingly you can conclude that mass of water increases with salinity. When the salinity increases, the mass of the solution also increases. Therefore, by using this method, we can separately identify fresh water, marine water and brackish water, which has a salinity in between fresh water and marine water. So the same question can be asked like this. You are provided with 3 samples of water taken from a well, sea and a lagoon. So you are asked to find which has the highest mass per a unit volume. Here in all the 3 instances we have taken 25 milliliters each. So what would be your answer? Which will have the highest mass? So this C should be water taken from sea. B should be water taken from a lagoon, and A should be water taken from a well. So by using this simple activity, you can compare the salinity of different types of water. And after that, we have to discuss about the importance of water. So at the beginning also I mentioned that water is an essential resource which is essentially needed for the maintenance of life for all the living organisms. So here we are considering the importance of water for human activities. So if you think of your day-to-day life, you know, for drinking purposes, for cleaning purposes, to be healthy, for sanitary purposes, to maintain good health practices, for agriculture, to wash clothes, we need water. And if you look at the diagrams given, pictures, you can see water is needed to drink, for agriculture, to wash clothes, for bathing, for transportation, and another important use is to produce hydroelectricity. If you have visited a hydropower plant, you can see that the water is stored in large reservoirs, and the energy of flowing water is made used in the generation of electricity. So if we summarize the uses of water, we can say for industries including agriculture. So in addition to agriculture, if we think of the fizzy drink industry or any other industry based on food, preparation of food, fruit-based industries, vegetable-based industries, and the extraction of essential oil. There are so a batik industry, clothing industry. In all these, we need water. Then for sanitary purposes, so if we think of our day-to-day life, water is essential to maintain good health practices for sanitary purposes. So washing clothes, bathing, all these are included here. For household activities, when we say household activities, for cooking we need water, then uh, to clean the house, as well as for the usage of animals, and for cleaning the vehicles, and all these, there are so many household activities in which we need water. Then transportation. So in the world, water is used as a good mode of transportation, and for the transportation of people, the goods, as well as if you have seen, the logs of wood are transported along water, along rivers. Then for leisure activities, we need water. There are a lot of games which are related with water, water related sports, to produce energy, the electrical energy which is generated by using the kinetic energy of water. So these are the importance of water for human activities. Then we have to discuss importance of water for the existence of life. So this is a common topic. Once we say life, it includes plants, animals, microorganisms, everything. A person who is suffering from diarrhea has a risk of facing dehydration, and may even come up with death. The reason is during diarrhea as well as during vomiting, there is a heavy loss of water from the body. If we consider the mass of our body, majority of it consists of water. So when more water is removed from the body, the cells are dehydrated. So that can end up with even death. That is why when you have such condition, the doctors and your mother ask you to drink uh, nutritious drinks as much as possible, and pure water is also very important, drinking of pure water. And also, if a plant doesn't get sufficient water, it gets withered. You have seen during the dry season or during daytime when there is sunlight, more water is removed from the plant body, so the especially the leaves become withered. So water is very essential factor for the existence of living beings. What we'll see what are these important factors. So here you can see the importance of water for the existence of life. There it has been mentioned to transport nutrients throughout the body. So if we consider the animal body or the human body, blood is the main transportation medium. There majority of blood is also water. So in this liquid medium, the nutrients are dissolved and it is transported throughout the body. If we consider the plant body, again the nutrients are transported throughout the plant as a liquid. Later you will learn that food is translocated through the plant as a solution of sucrose. There again water becomes a medium for the transportation of nutrients. Then minerals are absorbed to plants after dissolving in water. So plants can absorb minerals only when there is water. That is why when we add fertilizer to a plant, we are asked to put water at the same time, because that fertilizer or the minerals we provide can only be absorbed by the plant after dissolving in water. Then for plants to be erect, so the plant cells are provided with a rigidity when there is water. Then for photosynthesis, in the first unit you learnt about photosynthesis. So water is one of the external factors which are needed for photosynthesis. For cooling the body, so in animals, if we think of human beings, due to sweating, our body gets cooled down. Likewise in plants, due to the loss of water in the form of water vapor, which we call as transpiration, the plant body is cooled down. So for cooling the body, water is very important. As a medium of living, that means water provides habitats for certain living organisms like fish, aquatic plants, and there are so many other aquatic animals. And to digest food also, a liquid medium is needed. That liquid medium mainly consists of water. In our stomach there is a liquid medium, and certain secretions are added which we call as gastric juice. Later you will learn about this. So for the digestion of food also a liquid medium is needed. And as an excretory medium of animals, so in excretion or removal of waste matter, for example sweat, then urea, urine, sweat and urine are excretory products, and as well as the exhaled air which we release from our nostrils, that also contain water vapor. So this excretion is an important process to remove the poisonous substances available in body cells. So all these excretory products are removed as a liquid medium or after mixing with water or after dissolving in water. Therefore, to remove the excretory products from animal body, water is essential. That is why you are asked to drink a lot of water to maintain a healthy life. Then, uh, now you know that there are so many importances of water for the maintenance of life, and without water, an organism can end up with death. But we should know again that water or the consumable water is a very limited resource. Consumable water is a very limited resource. So there are so many gifts of nature. They are called natural resources. So at the beginning we told that water is also an important natural resource, but it is a limited natural resource. Why we call it as a limited natural resource? The reason is, when we consider water, it covers more than 70% of the Earth's surface. If you observe the globe, a diagram or any other structure, we can see 70% of it, majority of it is covered with water. But out of that, 97.41% is available in seas and oceans, and about 2.58% is available in solid state as ice or glaciers. You have learned about the types of water based on physical state. So nearly 3% is existing in the solid state, and the water that can be consumed is less than 1%. It is 0.01%. It is a very limited amount. So you can see, though there are so many sources of water, the consumable water is very limited. Therefore, water is a very important natural resource which we have to conserve a lot. Out of this very little percentage, majority of it is polluted due to bad human activities. Right, you have to remember these percentages to get an idea about this. So 97% is about 97% is in seas and oceans, about 2.5% is in solid state, and consumable water is 0.01%. Surface. Surface water is available more than 70% of the Earth's surface, but the consumable water is very limited. Even though water is a natural resource, most of the people use it in very careless manner. You have seen, I think you also don't pay much attention to conserve water. When once you open the tap, that water flows. So you don't feel that it is a limited source. But in our country also, there are certain people who are walking several kilometers in search of drinking water. So that is the situation. Therefore, we must conserve water. So when we talk about the conservation of water, on the other hand, we have to mention about water pollution. We have to stop pollution in order to conserve. So what are the ways by which water is polluted? There are some water bodies with different types of waste materials, and some of them release bad smell or an odor, and in some of the water bodies water is decolorized. So we should know what water pollution is. Actually, water pollution is addition of waste materials to water till it becomes unsuitable for consumption. Water pollution is addition of waste materials to water till it becomes unsuitable for consumption. So we should learn what are the methods by which water pollution takes place, and we have to minimize those methods in order to conserve water. Even though there is only about 0.1%, 0.01% of water suitable for consumption, due to unawareness and carelessness of people, this limited amount of water is getting polluted. So you have seen some people, wherever they go, they put garbage here and there, and these are added into water bodies, the tanks, reservoirs, ponds, rivers. They put polythene, plastic, glass bottles everywhere. So as the younger generation, you should be determined. You should not you should not litter here and there. You have to practice good habits in order to conserve all the natural resources in the environment. Then you are asked to list out the methods of water pollution. So here you can see the some of the methods by which water gets polluted. Um, so in our country you can see so many rivers with polluted water, and here the methods of water pollution are described. Emission of agrochemicals and chemicals. So during agriculture they use so many chemical substances like fertilizer, weedicides, pesticides. So many chemicals are used. These chemicals are added into water bodies. The agricultural lands are washed off during rain, and they are directly added into natural water bodies. Then addition of polythene and plastics to water bodies. That is a common incident in our country. And releasing of chemicals and impure water from factories. Some of the factories, actually it is illegal to release untreated water or polluted water or water containing other substances into natural water bodies, but there are certain factories, they release the wastewater into natural water bodies like rivers and tanks. And the other method is releasing of waste materials and impure water to water bodies. Waste materials, industrial waste, sometimes even toilet waste, these are added into water bodies. That is a very bad practice. And washing and bathing in water bodies, that is sometimes some people even wash vehicles, clean vehicles by using the water in natural water bodies, and everything, oil and everything are washed off into water. And from ships also certain oil as well as waste materials are added into the ocean, and recently we know that the ocean environment is highly polluted because of the release of all the waste materials into the ocean. So this is a very pathetic condition, and we have to avoid all these methods. We have to conserve, otherwise the environment will give us a huge punishment in the near future, because we are polluting the mother nature. Here you can see releasing of waste materials and impure water into water bodies, and releasing of household materials to water. The solid waste is added into water. And in this diagram you can see releasing of plastic and polythene into water bodies. In our country also this is very common. Some of the rivers are filled with this polythene and plastic. Then emission of chemicals and washing materials, and that means alkali or the alkaline substances, soapy water. These are added into water bodies, and you can see the foam penner on the top of the water surface. So These are the methods by which water gets polluted. Then pollution of surface water affects groundwater too. You know that there are three types of water based on availability. So once the surface water is polluted by the above mentioned methods, that will affect groundwater also, because that surface water penetrate through the layers of soil to form groundwater. So groundwater can also get polluted. So this groundwater is consumed by people who are using those tube wells, and these groundwater bodies are interconnected. So we have to avoid all types of pollution of water. The poisonous chemicals in surface water are added to the groundwater too. And as groundwater is used to drink, these poisonous chemicals enter the human body. Not only the human body, these are absorbed by the plant bodies as well. Then you are asked, what are the illnesses that can be caused due to consumption of polluted water? So there are so many illnesses, long-term illnesses like cancer, kidney failure, which is a common condition in our country nowadays. It is said that it is due to the consumption of excessive agrochemicals. Uh, these are long-term disease conditions, cancer and kidney failures. In addition to that, by drinking polluted water, we can cause diarrhea like things, as well as vomiting. So precautions should be taken as soon as possible to prevent water pollution. Otherwise, we will also lose the limited amount of water that is suitable for consumption. There is no way of producing water artificially, though how much developed the science and technology is. Therefore, we must conserve this natural source. I'm repeatedly telling because it is that much important. Taking necessary steps to stop water pollution is a timely need. So you can think of the methods as a student, as a uh, citizen, good citizen of the country who is going to accept the future, who is going to rule the world in future. Um, what are the steps that we have to take in our level to minimize this water pollution? If a single individual initiates this, and this will spread to the whole population, and we will be able to protect these important natural resources. So I think you got a clear idea about the lesson. If I summarize, in the third unit, we were discussing about water as a natural resource. We learned that there are three states of water. Then we discussed examples for the three states of water in the water in solid state, liquid state, and gaseous state. And we discussed certain activities as well. And after that, we mentioned the types of water based on availability, precipitation, surface water, and groundwater. And next, we discussed the types of water based on salinity, and we learned a simple activity to find salinity of water. Then finally, we discussed the importance of water, what are the importances of water for human activities, and what are the importances of water for the existence of life. And we learned that how limited this natural resource is, and what are the methods of water pollution, and I asked you to think of the methods to minimize this